What's up, guys? It's your boy Stuff It In here, and today we're talking about this bullshit ass Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight, which we all already know the result of. Now, what made me want to make this video is I saw a clip on TikTok of Jake Paul literally, you know what? Just listen for yourselves.
Dallas, shut the fuck up. Y'all keep booing. I'm gonna keep doing. Bunch of bitches. That's how y'all wanna do it. Let's
Now, let me drop some knowledge on you here, little boy. I don't know, you clearly haven't been to the South a lot, let alone Texas. Especially Texas. We've got a real healthy mix of country and hood folks. And you just called one of the second most dangerous cities in the state a bunch of bitches. You just called the entire city people a bunch of bitches. Dallas probably has the highest crime rate next to Houston in the state of Texas due to the amount of gangs and criminal activity in the city. And you just called them all a bunch of bitches. I don't know what security detail you have, but you keep going the way you're going, little boy, you're going to end up having some southern born and raised, 6 foot, 350 pound, nothing but solid muscle dudes that have been working farms their whole lives, mixed with a bunch of hood fools that have been fighting since they were able to fight, and that goes for the country folks too. Honestly, you come across a person in the state of Texas that has never been in a fight, they're probably not from Texas. Anybody that was born and raised in Texas have probably been in more fights than you've ever even seen. And we ain't talking in a boxing ring with padded gloves and rules. No, we're talking out on the street where I beat your ass down until you're not walking and talking anymore. You're passed out in a pool of your own blood. All right? That's the kind of people you just called a bunch of bitches. You keep going the way you're going. At some point, you're going to end up being hospitalized before Tyson has a chance to end your career. And let's be honest, we all know the result of this fight before it even happens. Because I don't know what gave him the headspace of the delusion that he can take on and whoop one of the sport's most best and iconic fighters of all time. Obviously next to Merriweather. You know, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Mike Tyson that said in an interview, even though Jake Paul decided he wanted to say he thought he would be able to whoop him. I think it was Mike Tyson that said he can't say that because Merriweather's no longer alive. He can't defend himself from that statement. And it's not okay to sit here and trash talk the dead. But even Tyson believed that if he went and fought Merriweather in his prime, it would be really close. He doesn't know if he'd be able to win, but if he did, it would have been really close call. Whereas Jake Paul, who's only ever fought 2 YouTubers in his career, seemed to think that he'd be able to spank the sport's best fighter in all of history. Now, I went and looked up Jake Paul's career. He's only ever been in 2 fights. His boxing career did not exist until 2018. Keep in mind, Jake Paul has been training in boxing since Vine got canceled and he was no longer able to ride his older brother's coattails through Vine. Now, I think Vine got canceled. Hold up. Give me a second. I think Vine got canceled in 2016. So, he started, oh, no, because he started training for boxing before Vine got canceled, because I remember seeing videos of him and Logan Paul training together. But anyways, so he was training for years prior to the cancellation of Vine. He was training for years prior to him calling out a YouTuber that had 0 experience fighting in the boxing ring, period. he called out some British YouTuber. Not going to even attempt to pronounce that name. You can go look up Jake Paul's boxing career and find him yourself. But this guy had zero fighting experience in the ring prior to fighting Jake Paul. Keep in mind, Jake Paul only called him out a couple months prior to the fight. So this British YouTuber, who's been a YouTuber most of his life, literally, oh no, those are upcoming fights. I'm sorry. Literally had a couple months to prepare for this fight, whereas Jake Paul had been training for years prior to even calling out this fighter. And it still took him 5 rounds to take this dude out. 5 rounds. To take out a complete amateur with only a couple months of training, whereas I understand he was a complete amateur at the time, really low-key still is, because the only people he has fought in his career are people that had zero boxing experience up until fighting him. But it took him 5 rounds to knock out someone that had only been training for a couple months when he had been training for a couple years. All right. Then he calls out yet another YouTuber, Jib, that had zero fighting experience in the boxing ring. Granted, he only knocked him out in 1 minute and 82 seconds. And in all honesty, I think that's the fight that gave Jake Paul the delusion that he could take on someone like Mike Tyson. Let me explain something to you, dude. You went from struggling with one YouTuber who had zero fighting experience to knocking out another YouTuber with zero fighting experience, and you genuinely believe that you can take on one of the sport's greatest champions just because he's retired. And in all honesty, it's more of a little bitch move to sit here and call out retired people from the sport than anything else. If you're oh so big and bad, why aren't you calling out current high-ranking fighters in the sport? Why are you calling out people out of retirement? If you are as good as you think you are, why are you calling out people in retirement? Why aren't you calling out active fighters in the sport? Because you know you're not going to do anything. And when Mike Tyson ends this kid's career, because let's be honest, he's going to 3-tap this fucker and he's going to be out. That's going to be it. And he ain't going to be able to call out anybody else. Because you just got, as Jake Paul put it, knocked out by this old man, as Jake Paul put it, washed up old man. And you're going to end up getting knocked out by him. Long story short. Because, he might be retired and he might be significantly older than what he was when he was actively fighting and boxing. Let me tell you something. Mike Tyson's hits don't hurt any less hard. All right? I don't know if y'all seen The Hangover. If you've seen The Hangover, bud. He was already retired in that movie. He actually knocked that dude out. That wasn't like, oh, let me pretend to hit him and knock him out. They did an interview about it where the dude actually said it was honestly an honor to get knocked out by Mike Tyson. Do you know how few people can say that? Honestly, I would. If that's your goal, if that's the reason you're calling out Mike Tyson, good for you. You can officially have the bragging rights that you are one of the few people who have been knocked out by Mike Tyson. But you're sitting here talking 10 tons of trash when you yourself already know the result. We all know the result. We'll see it July 20th. And in all honesty, it's going to be a massive satisfaction to watch this arrogant little prick get put in his place. This has been Stuff It In Gaming. Y'all have a Stuff It Day.